Hello, Collateral Gaming listeners. Chazzle Dazzle here from the Trial by Error Variety Show podcast. I just wanted to take a few seconds to invite you guys over to what we do. No, it's not video games, but we do invite really awesome and unique bands from all over the world. We dig deep into their souls and find really cool stories to tell you, and there's tons of music every week, so subscribe to us wherever you subscribe to your podcast. We look forward to having you.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Megan Gomez.
And I'm Agony.
This is Collateral Gaming.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Collateral Gaming Podcast. Of course, the only gaming podcast that matters. Today, we're going to be talking about Dead Space 2. I am Megan Gomez.
And I am Ashley Chancellor, and we've got, once again, Agony, our special guest on the first Dead Space episode. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're hanging in there. It's another day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, fantastic, man. It's great to have you on. Thank you for coming back and talking Dead Space 2 with us. Really excited to compare and contrast this game with the first game.
Yeah, there's lots of differences, lots of big things about Dead Space 2 that I think a lot of the players liked more. For me personally, there was a lot of things in Dead Space 2 that felt more like an actual game. I know we were talking in the last episode how Dead Space 1 felt more like an indie game. It didn't feel fully developed. There were some things that just weren't there, some things that, players really, really wanted. And I feel like this game kind of pulled forward with that and really gave us a little bit more of a cohesive experience. For me personally, it did feel a little bit better playing it. I had better reaction times, better things like that, instead of just being like, why are you glitching across the sky? Okay, goodbye. Just lots of better things than that. Agony, what was your favorite thing about Dead Space 2?
About Dead Space 2, I think the story was a good continuation of the first one. Obviously, there's like a small gap in time between the first and second one, but that was covered down by like the little expansion of Dead Space Ignition, which is like a small little side game that kind of explains to the events prior to Dead Space 2. So
Perfect. What about you, Ash?
Well, in addition to being a more polished game, I enjoyed quite a few of the quality of life improvements that came with Dead Space 2. The controls are a lot more common sense. That right off the bat, that's something you'll notice. You've got a dedicated reload button now. You don't have to aim and then press the A button or the X button. You just press the X or square button and reload. Like any other first-person shooter, although this is a third-person shooter, but you know what I'm saying. I also liked that the zero-G is better in this game. I just love that you're kind of able to freely move around in the zero-gravity environments. That was a lot of fun. And another thing that I noticed is that this game does... the narrative does feel a whole lot more cohesive, as opposed to Dead Space 1, which we mentioned is very repetitive at times. You kind of just go through each chapter and it's the same thing. Dead Space 2 really kind of shakes things up, and it feels like you're living through a story not unlike any movie or TV show that you might be watching.
What was your favorite what's your favorite part, Agony? What's your favorite part? I have to know, because you played this game only 10,000 times.
So my favorite part was going back to the USG Ishimura and just walking through and then reliving all the horror that you had already experienced prior, and just seeing how they covered it up and it just looks like it was just in your head. Just going from psycho freak out to bland. It was an amazing mix. It was really nice.
I love that. I think the greatest thing for me in this one was the fact that you wake up, someone's like, get the fuck up right now, let's go. And you're like, what the fuck happened? Where am I? And you just start running away from fucking necros in a straitjacket. You're like in the first game, but instead of having your hands so you can at least elbow them or some shit, you're stuck just wiggling around like a little fucking worm in your straitjacket. Like, what do I do? What's going on? Oh my God. Holy shit.
That
like
first QTE though.
Yes.
Yes.
Literally, I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. I remember I was like the first game when I first played through, I was screaming a lot because I don't like horror games, but I love the first Dead Space. And I was like, all right, let's go number 2. Let's pick this up. I freaked the fuck out. I screeched like an actual banshee the first 10 minutes of the game because you're just running for your fucking life. And then the laser part happens with the fucking eyeball.
Yes.
No,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
the fucking that little manual thing where you have to drag the little needle into your eye,
And you
it's
have
like,
to
oh god,
drive it into his eye, and you just know what's happening, and it's kind of hard because he's twitching, so you can't quite aim it right. And yeah, that was such a tense moment. I gotta agree with both of you guys. The introductory segment to this game is phenomenal. I mean, they throw you right into the action. And I thought the tutorial segment was handled well, and even gave us a chance to kind of play with some of the new mechanics, like with the telekinesis now, or the kinesis power. Now you can drive sharp objects into enemies, including their own
Yes.
limbs, and use that to pin enemies. And so I like how they throw you in, first without even the ability to move your arms. You're in a straitjacket, and then even whenever you get out of that, you still don't have a plasma cutter. All you have on you when you encounter the first necromorphs that you actually may have to fight is the kinesis power, and I thought that was really cool. But I gotta say, my favorite part of the game is exactly the moment that Agony was talking about, replaying through the Ishimura of the first game. But it's what, 3 years later, and it's covered in all this junk because they're investigating the ship and pulling things out or whatever. But just going through the exact same levels that you were in the first game, and I think they bring you through the ones that you end up visiting most often. The medical bay and the command area where the captain's nest is and shit. And
below the tram.
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
Below the tram. And I just thought that part of the game was handled so well. You wouldn't expect to be going back to the Ishimura as early as the sequel, but it just falls in so naturally. And you don't realize, once you realize what you're doing, because you see it early on in the game, but it's like once I start, I'm like, oh, I'm getting on the Ishimura. Oh, this is the same play area where I did that, and I was, So Dead Space 2, I think, definitely picks up after the first one. I don't think it works as well as a standalone game, because a lot of what excited me and made the experience more meaningful for me was having already played the first game, And so when the game just throws you right into the action, I think it does expect you to have been a veteran of the prequel,
In the event that wasn't a thing, if you look, it does have a previously on Dead Space thing at the main menu, so you can click on that and relive it. So even if it's like Dead Space 2 is your first one, like first experience to the series, there is a recap, like little video for you to watch, so you kind of understand the basic gist of everything that's going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, something I love is the fact that, like, it's not like in the first game where you just pick up a plasma cutter. You literally rip that shit out of a console.
Yeah.
Same thing with the kinesis module. You're literally just rip, and he's just like fucking jacking the shit while this guy's laying on a table, and you're like, sorry, buddy, like these necros are gonna come towards you because I got to get this shit right fucking now. And for the first time I played this game, I was very confused because Isaac wakes up, he kind of seems like he's in a dream a little bit. At first I thought this was a dream that he's playing, going through. And then it's like, oh, well, I'm just freaking out. And then all the necros start coming towards you and you're like, oh, someone fucked up really bad while I was knocked the fuck out in a straitjacket. What the fuck is going on? And then you just start running everywhere and there's necros just everywhere. And you're like, how the fuck did things fall apart in the 9 months that I was out? Why? I just love that aspect for Isaac because you can tell by the look on his face, because you actually get to see his face now that he's like, what the fuck?
And he has a voice now. That's something that was...
Yeah.
Silent man is no longer silent, so he's no longer the Link of horror games.
And it's not awkward. I feel like we get a natural development into Isaac's personality. It didn't feel jarring at all to me. If Link suddenly started speaking in the next Zelda game, I would freak the fuck out because
I would cry.
it just wouldn't be the same. It just would not work. But it works here. It definitely works here. In fact, it kind of makes me wonder why Isaac was a silent protagonist in the first place, because and not that I don't like that the way that Dead Space 1 explored his personality by just in the way that it presented the narrative, because it did work, but giving Isaac a voice now definitely does help ground you in the story and, you know, and be invested in the developments that are going on. The betrayals, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think another big thing is, like, you went from this cramped, you know, planet cracking ship. And it was just so cramped, and there's so much things to just walk around and try to maneuver with and try to, like, work around and try to clean up some messes that are all over, just blocking from, like, doorways from here or there, to this massive ass fucking space station that is just littered with so much stuff to do and so much stuff to see. And I love how they, like, obviously, you know, they brought in, like, fucking, oh, this was like a family living quarters area that you're in, and so you're like, okay, well, what happened with the kids? And then, like, later on, you see what the fuck happened with the kids, and you're like, okay, that's fucked. That is fucked. Like,
they always subject kids to the worst shit in horror games, I swear.
But I mean, come on, isn't it fun? Isn't it fun beating the shit out of those hordes of kid necros? I mean, come on, haven't you ever wanted to just be the adult fighting off a bunch of 5th graders coming at you? Like Beware Children at Play.
I think
we ain't playing no more, kids.
I don't know if anyone's familiar with that trauma film, but if you are, then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I thought you were gonna say, you know, pull an Anakin and pull out a lightsaber. I was
yes, an Anakin
killing the young one.
I feel like Anakin. I get to relive my favorite moment of Revenge of the Sith.
How is that your favorite?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, Dead Space 2 also amps up the difficulty quite a bit, especially those last, like, 3 chapters.
Yeah.
I was yelling at my TV, I'm not going to lie. And I didn't even vouch for going for the veteran mode or whatever it's called. I went for the regular medium difficulty setting again, even though I already played the first game. And those last 3 chapters are still very, very difficult. I mean, there's another regenerating monster. Fucking hate that shit. All right. And then there's the fucking, they throw just a shit ton of enemies at you. And I found that I was just doing the force stomp. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever you're using the contact beam,
power of God in your right leg. Yeah, absolutely.
The contact beam's alternate fire.
Oh yes, okay. Okay, I thought you meant just Isaac having the absolute power of God in his right leg, because like, you need to chill, my guy.
I have no idea what you're talking about, the contact beam, because I still, with the pistol and the pulse rifle, that's all I use.
That's all you use.
Weapons I use.
I really want. What was it that was in that one? It was Mjolnir, and I was like, Slink, you should use Mjolnir, and he's like, no, plasma cutter, pulse rifle, that's it. And I was like, all right, whatever. And he did it for stream too, but, you know, like, even time and time again, every time he plays through, he's like, I'm playing Dead Space again. I'm like, you're just using the plasma cutter and the pulse rifle? He's like, fuck yeah, I am. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Most reliable weapons. At least you know that you're getting what you're looking at. It's not something fancy like, oh, look, I got, like, the mind layer where you're just dropping mines, like, okay, and sweet, I guess. Or the contact beam where it's like, all right, now let me back up and try to eliminate these limbs. And it's like, no, I'm just gonna, like, unload 75, 150 rounds into these fucking things and just hope to God that they don't get back up afterwards.
I like the mine because you can, like, especially if you see them coming after you. I definitely pull a pussy one in this, and I just run around and I have them all follow me, and then I, like, lay mines behind me, and then they just boom, 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 boom. It's really fun. I feel like I'm playing, like, Easter egg hunt with fucking necros. It's great.
Yes, the mine detonator is actually especially good against, you know, the stalkers as well. The stalkers in this game are very difficult. They're these, you know, necromorphs that are constantly hiding behind structures, and they're actually, I think they act just exactly like the stalkers in The Last of Us, if we're being honest. They're like,
yeah, kinda.
They're like the same thing, actually. But anyway, yeah, they're like hiding behind objects, and then they'll suddenly just rush attack you and go, ah! But I had a lot of difficulty with those. But that new, you know, mine detonator or whatever it's called, proximity detonator, that shit's cool. One of the other new weapons that I really enjoyed and actually became a part of my repertoire was the Seeker rifle, because I'm a sniper guy. plain and simple.
Yeah.
So I had my plasma
Seeker's a
cutter.
really good one.
I had the plasma cutter because it's arguably the best weapon still. I had the contact beam because it's the equivalent of a shotgun. Basically, you just have to charge it up, and it actually does have range. And then you've got your seeker rifle, which was my sniper weapon, and then my last one was the line gun because it's just so useful when an enemy is just running at you. You just aim it at their feet, bam, no problem.
That's a good one. I like the line gun a lot, honestly. Like, I really like the aspect of having basically a bigger plasma cutter. Like, shit's dope. Love that. You can just fucking clear them all out and you're good to go. I think, honestly, for a game that was intended to be a sequel, it almost feels like its own standalone, but it feels like a sequel at the same time. And something that I really, really respect about Dead Space 2 is the way that they carried the story and brought it forth from just, oh, it's aliens on a ship to, oh my God, they're invading our society and our people. Like they did it so well, and just even though in the beginning of the game you're just like, what the fuck? Like they just bring it in and expand it so well that you're just like, yeah, I could fucking see this happening. Humans are fucking stupid. Like absolutely, let's talk about it.
They expanded a little bit more with the unitologists and stuff about how they were the ones that are starting it all. That was a good. That was a good little bit.
The human element is more prevalent here. Like in the first game, we heard about the unitologists and we knew about a couple nut jobs, but as a whole, the necromorphs were the main enemy, and humanity was just, kind of part of the lore. In this game, we get some direct confrontation with humanity. You're not killing humans yet. I don't think they do that till the next game, Dead Space 3. But humans are definitely unitologists. EarthGov are definitely your enemies, and in fact, even the main antagonist, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tideman, he's a government dude, and he's just he's trying to get you because I guess Isaac has the instructions on how to like create and destroy markers or some shit. And I think if that's what I gleaned from what was going on.
The way they built up the confrontation between him and Isaac was like a really good build up. Yeah. I feel like it could have been a little bit better with the ending, but that little QTE at the end going against him was really nice.
So cool.
That one was good.
It was so satisfying.
It was.
You're like, fuck you.
Yeah, for me, on another perspective, like I kind of compare a lot of antagonists to Far Cry because they have the best villains. They have the most memorable villains every single time.
Yeah, it's Voss. Voss is the villain. He's the villain.
Exactly. So like I try to bring down my expectations for enemies, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing. Far Cry is very, very well executed in every single game they do. But Hans was very, very strong as an antagonist, and he was one that is definitely memorable for me, just because he's so fucking sick and twisted, and he's like, no, I would sacrifice my own fucking children to become necromorphs, and you're like, okay, like you good, bro? Like, how much fucking therapy do I need to pay for? Like, are you okay? Yeah. And something that I also really found good about this game, as it builds into number 3, is the relationship that you start to develop with Ellie, because like your girlfriend's dead. She's coming to you in hallucinations like, keep us whole, Isaac. And you're just freaking out because you're like, I know you're. Yeah, she's screaming at you. You're like, I know you're fucking dead. Leave me the fuck alone. And then Ellie's like, hey, I'm female. What's up? But, she does help you a lot through the game. Also, Dana, what's up with her? Anybody else get weird vibes from her? I do. I don't know.
Weird
like,
vibes.
Even though she's like helping, like she gives me weird vibes.
I trusted her. I actually did. I did not expect her to be bad, and I guess I should have. My bullshit filter should have been going off like, okay, here's this person who's like manipulating Isaac. But yeah, no, I like how the game shifts in focus after she dies very early on, and then the game shifts in focus to Ellie and Strauss. And so Isaac is constantly like maintaining and building up this relationship with her. And I think, there were definitely romantic vibes in this game, but I don't think they explicitly went anywhere with it. But in Dead Space 3, they were in a relationship, right?
They got to that point.
Yeah, so when they got off of Titan Station, they they wound up in a relationship, and obviously Dead Space 3 they broke up because of like Isaac's inability to focus on anything aside from the markers.
Well, he literally was driven insane. I mean, this dude has serious.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude is seriously mentally ill. I mean, there's definitely a mental health component here, because I mean, the first game was you kind of discovering Isaac's insanity. There's elements of it throughout, but it's very subtle, and you don't really know till the end. But in this game, it's on full blast.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like and it makes me curious, you know, because I never played Ignition, but like, what goes from Isaac saving Ishimura, ending all that shit, to waking up in a straitjacket?
Yeah.
So what happened, right, was that he was rescued, right? It's also in the lore throughout the game. Like you'll hear the audio logs and stuff. He was rescued, like he was found inside that lifeboat. If you saw the jump scare at the end of the first Dead Space where he looks over and fucking, you know,
Nicole.
she's right there and she just jumps at you. Like this dude is literally stuck there. I think it was like 3 or 4 days in, you know, dead space with this hallucination harassing him. They found him and he was just mumbling. And so they're like, all right, we need to get him back, see what the fuck happened. So they grabbed him and Ishimura, got him back to Titan Station, and that's where they were trying to like figure out what was going on. So what happened was that the unitologists in 2 were trying to save Isaac so that way they could build more markers. So in Ignition, it kind of explains all of that as like they're playing as a unitologist that's just going through like, you know, fixing electronical problems and issues like that. And it's a short game. It's like an hour long, I think. And so you're just doing like little puzzles and like you're getting like kind of the backstory. You make your own choices. And at the very end, the dude who's like waking you up, like at the very beginning of Dead Space 2, the dude shaking you awake is the dude that you wind up that you're playing as through Ignition. And so you kind of see his story and all that stuff. And obviously it ends with him trying to eat you because he turns into a necromorph. So
guy.
that's pretty much what happened is like you're like he was stuck in space for 3-5 days just living with like undead Nicole, just fucking trying to face fuck him, whatever the fuck. Yeah, just trying to face fuck him the whole time. And it's like, dude, just like you feel bad for him when you actually really think about it. And then then you have Strauss with whatever the fuck is going on with him. That dude was just psychotic.
Yeah, no, he straight up was fucking insane. I also just wanted to bring up, because this was one of the moments for me where I was like, there's games that kind of fake you out, and you're like, this is no way that the game is going to end this early. Whenever he just comes up to you with a fucking scalpel up to your straitjacket.
Yeah.
And you're like, am I seriously going to be like walking around with a fucking scalpel in my body right now with necros? And this dude's trying to fucking kill me and he just cuts it open and you're like, oh, thank fuck. Oh my God.
Then he
like,
slits his throat right in front of you and
yeah,
you're
and
like,
he's
what the
like,
fuck?
Okay, man. Well, you do you, bro.
Yeah. Well, he can't do him anymore. He's dead.
You know
exactly.
what? One of the coolest jump scares is actually early on in the game when you're riding in an elevator and then suddenly Nicole's fucking eyes and her mouth wide open just like light up in the darkness, and then she's just like, "Make us whole!" And you're like, "Whoa!"
That got a lot of people in my chat whenever that happened.
Yeah, I remember that. They were freaking out.
We got a good clip of like my paranoia with the elevators again. Like we got a really good clip that actually went a little viral of me like talking about like I don't trust elevators in Dead Space because of, you know, reasons like there's necros inside of them. I open a fucking elevator and boom, there was one right in fucking side of it. I was like, that's the exact shit I'm talking about.
Yes, literally. And it does transverse throughout like gaming. Like I know I've talked a lot about how Skyrim and Mass Effect have kind of shaped me as a gamer, but anytime I decide eventually to pick up a horror game, I am fucking terrified of elevators. I'm like, nope. Something's gonna jump. I literally am like rolling around like just fucking gun ready and nothing happens. And I'm like, I look like a fucking dumbass, but I was safe. I was safe from that shit.
Safe.
Every time. Even in a normal game now, like I can, like Josh, like I can't trust it. Because I replayed through it and you know, like of course like I started playing a little bit of Mass Effect because we're gonna be doing that for the Patreon. I'm just waiting for my camera to come in. So I was playing through it and literally it's just me and Garrus and Rex and I'm like rotating the camera. I'm like something's gonna come out. I'm on the fucking Citadel. Like what's gonna come out of me? A fucking Hanar? And I'm like, something's gonna happen. Something's like paranoia. And Josh bringing it up every time he talks about Dead Space makes me fucking terrified of fucking elevators.
I don't blame
That's
you.
how you know it was a really good game. Like to viscerally impact everybody's gaming experience, just entirety.
To viscerally,
It was
to viscerally do it because they're visceral games.
Yeah, viscerally do it. Yeah, because Visceral. Yeah, they did a really good job with it. You got to give them credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and evidently, there are rumors, and I guess we timed this episode just right once again.
we were talking about this in the group chat. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
but-
Every fucking time we have a game where we're like, man, we need a sequel or we need a what is it, a remaster. Every fucking time a major rumor gets dropped or it happens, we need a prediction segment. I'm telling you, it's absolutely necessary now.
So yeah, there are rumors that Dead Space is being revived, or that EA is going to revive a franchise. I think that's what the actual rumor is, but most people are speculating that it's Dead Space.
Because like it's recently crop up in popularity this like these past couple of years with like obviously with COVID, people are trying to experience with, like new games, and like for Xbox you got EA Play, which comes free with Game Pass.
Yeah, and you can play it.
Yeah, and so you just pick it up and play it, and people's like interest in Dead Space because it just popped up really really fast. So I could definitely see it being revived as that franchise.
Yeah.
And regardless if it's a remaster or just a continuation of something else, because like obviously like I don't think we could have Isaac around at this point. He's too damn old for that shit.
Right.
Like he's got gray hair. Like he spends half his time fucking complaining about his body hurting. Like, come on, dude, just give him a fucking break.
Yeah, you could move forward in the universe too. I mean, totally possible to just take it somewhere else within the universe, or maybe just reboot it. I mean, I'm not opposed to that idea.
Yeah, we could do like a reboot, remaster, or even tell like I know a lot of fans are excited about like the Star Wars series because they're telling stories and they're just extrapolating and taking them in the different points in time. I mean, it would be really cool to see someone else's perspective. Someone like trying to even just like a smaller game like Ignition. Just telling their story of if they survive, how they survive, or even like a telling of like I remember we were talking about this before, like a prequel, like playing because there's many games out there that have aliens and they use kind of human like bodies because you can only do so much in mocap. But I mean, telling like an alien's perspective of what's going on with them and how it affected their society would be super cool. There's so many ways that you can go about with this. Not just a remaster. You could do a prequel. You could do what happens. What leads EarthGov to send the Ishimura for this mission. What started the Unitology division. Things like that.
Right.
Do you know it wasn't EarthGov that sent them, right?
I know. I'm just saying, in general.
It was the Scientologist. It was because the captain of the Ishimura was a Unitologist, not Scientologist. It was a Unitologist.
Same thing.
I don't know why I said. Yeah, I think it might as well be.
He was inspired by it, I'm sure.
So it was his call to go there, which is why, like, if you actually, like I said, listen to the audio logs throughout the games, like they say, oh well, the captain cut communication outside of the Ishimura because we're not supposed to be. It was his call. It wasn't. And, like
even
everybody
the
was just caught
captain's
off.
perspective, because you never actually meet the captain.
No, you do, but he's fucking dead.
Well,
Look
he's
at
dead.
me.
That's what
Look
I'm
at me. I am the captain now.
Might as well, like the little
but
fucking
it would be cool.
infecting bat.
Hey,
Fucking
one of the
traitors.
coolest puzzles in this game was the whole like pick up the body to pass the rig sensor. So like there's that gate that's there's like a security gate that is, and there's a few of them throughout the game that are this way, that's restricted and scans your rig to determine if like you're the person that has authorization to go through there. And so Isaac doesn't, but you could just lift up one of the corpses with kinesis and and just take it over to the sensor, and I thought that was cool. That didn't I actually didn't figure that out quickly. I actually ended up having to wait until Ellie hints at it, and then I was like, oh. I was like wandering around the room so long trying to figure out what the fuck to do.
I think a good like thing that they did is they got you so comfortable with like not really rushing into that, and then I was like the second or third one or the last one that they did where you're running from one of the berserkers and you're trying to grab a body that's in a completely different room and drag it over while being chased by a berserker. The whole it's like, come on, man. It's like,
That part
fuck, I need a
fucking
break.
pisses me off. I always end up failing and getting fucked up by the berserker every time. It takes me like 3 or 4 tries every single time.
It's so infuriating because there's like so much stress. Like the whole game is really good on building and maintaining that stress factor.
Yeah, I feel like the first game was more of a horror, like what's gonna jump out at me. This game, it's just like, what's next? What the fuck else happened? Like this game is more like like almost like an anticipation. But I mean, it has its horror aspect. But it's more like you said, like suspense and stress. Like I was stressed the fuck out this entire game, wondering what they were gonna send after me next, because the Church of Unitology is just like, I think that he's not ready for the next one. And they're like, fuck it, yes, he's ready for the next one. And they're like, send him out, let's go. And you're like, oh god, I just want to live my life for once, please.
It's like experiencing the cabin in the woods where they're like have that little fucking spinning cycle where they're fucking rotating to find out what horrific monster to come out next inside their fucking little game. It's just that. It's like, holy fuck.
The game
like,
definitely
what
something
fucked
good,
up
please.
twisted monster is after me next.
The game
Exactly.
The game definitely builds up in anticipation, I think. I think, the early part of the game was more horror based, but as you get closer and closer to the end of the game, they're throwing more and more action and just tension at you, like you guys were saying. Like that one moment where, in the second to last chapter where the fucking regenerating necromorph is coming after you, and you have to keep slowing him down and moving forward, and that was so fucking difficult. And also that moment like in chapter 13 where they fucking throw just this horde of enemies at you, and then they don't let up. They just don't let up. Room after room after room of horde after enemies. I started yelling. I was like, give me some peace, for fuck's sake.
Oh yeah, and I mean, in any game, things get progressively harder as you play through the game. But this game punches you in the fucking face. They're
At
like,
the end it does, yeah.
Yes, some normal necromorphs.
And do some puzzle solving on the fly. The puzzles actually were quite a bit better in this game. I like the addition of the little hacking action that you can do now, where you just have to move the stick around and find the spot, and it's not terribly complicated, but they also added in those little crawl spaces that Isaac can go through. And then the puzzle solving actually is more involved this time. I think there are more puzzles, and I definitely enjoy that kind of gameplay, as a Zelda fan.
Is he alive?
Isaac Clarke. I'm going to show you some images, and I want you to tell me about them.
It was just a short boat. There were things in my head. So much shit in my head. What did the symbols whisper?
Where are you going? It's not over between us. You can't run from me forever.
Isaac, we're all gonna burn for what we did to you.
Absolutely. I think also one of the things, y'all know I'm a big Marvel fan. I just love how the fucking, you can just turn, and I feel like Doctor Strange. I'm like, yeah, turn that wheel, baby. Do it. Like every fucking time.
Or when you're like
Strange.
flying through, through, and it's like, oh look, I feel like Iron Man now, because you're just flying through 0G like fucking Iron Man.
Oh, that part where you're in space and you're trying to move the solar like dishes around. That part was so cool. You're literally in space outside the station, and you're just floating around in 0G, and amazing,
I'm Isaac Clarke, and this is my favorite spot on the space station.
Space is my space. Just saying. Safe is my safe space.
And then they follow that up with the free fall segment, which was cool. This game definitely amped up the suspense. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. The suspense and the adventure of it, I think. instead of being confined to the Ishimura, just this one ship, you're actually going through multiple environments on this sprawling station on Titan. So, there's you don't feel as confined, and I did notice that there were a lot more environments to take a look at. When you look out the window, you don't see space. You actually see the surface of a moon, with
I love that.
buildings
I love
and shit.
that so much.
Yeah.
I love that this game really takes on its own, and like you think the Ishimura is big, you're like, damn, like thinking about it, this is a pretty big ship. And then you just get, you're on Titan Station and it's fucking massive. Like you're going through, like you can see like little pop-up stores and stuff like that, or you go past the medical side, or it's just so big, and you're like, damn, like how much have humans come in 500 years? Like Jesus Christ, like you're just. It's amazing because it also in a retrospect makes you think about what humanity could do in the next 500 years. You're like, what could we, we're already doing so much with just video games alone. Where could we go from here? Like it's insanity.
Playing Dead Space 2 and even playing a little bit of Dead Space 3 like made me think like, how would this game play on a modern console? Like, I would love to see how this game handles with, on a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or S. That would be amazing. But I was actually blown away with how much more technically advanced this game was than the original. I mean, the original had a bit of a rush development history, but in the sequel, they really had time to know exactly what they wanted to do and could fully flesh it out. So they've actually gone, and it looks like they've remade like all of the character models and animations. Isaac actually looks completely different. He looks like a person. They had to give him like some actual features and definition. I just thought the whole game played more smoothly, but I think what really made a difference was just the colors. The first Dead Space was very washed out, and I think it worked for that atmosphere, of course. But in this game, I like what they did with the colors, just making it seem a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more almost modern. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like with the first Dead Space, because like obviously you're on the Ishimura, you're kind of just there hoping to God the lights are still working wherever it is the fuck you're at, and they have like that orange glow to it, that like rustic feel, like with the colors. And then with this one, it has more of like a bluish, mellow feel, which is really weird for this kind of game because like the light's like, hey, it's okay, mellow out, and then they're like, hey, guess what? At the moment you do, I'm punching you in the mouth. Don't do it.
I think they did it though on purpose because like you got to think like bringing in like orange, kind of orange and red. You always think of caution. You always think of danger because naturally we humans think of fire. You think of blue. You think of the sky. You think of things being calm. So like it's trying to like throw you off and throw off your levels of anxiety, and then just absolutely scaring the shit out of you. So it brings these big contradictions that really just throw you the fuck off. Like the only way that I personally can compare this is going from being in the normal city in San Antonio, Texas, and going onto a military base. In the city, things are normal. There's pretty houses, things are painted well. You go onto a military base, it's all the same fucking color. All the grass is perfectly trimmed, and it feels very bleak. And I don't mean to say that in a harsh way. It's just the contrast between like normal civilians versus the enlisted is insanity. Me being a civilian and my husband being used to it because my husband is an Army veteran and Agony is as well. It's so weird. It's so and it kind of feels the same way going from Dead Space 1 to Dead Space 2. Like you go from military to normalcy, and you get thrown into the middle of it in this game, and you're just like, sir, I don't understand what the hell is happening here. I feel like things are supposed to be normal, and they're just not, and I just want to go home.
I mean, you are home with technicality, but
yeah, no, he's home, but home is not home anymore.
Home is definitely not where the heart is, because if that was the case, then it'd be inside of the marker.
I was gonna say inside of Nicole, but
She's in the marker though, because obviously she's haunting you the whole last fucking game.
If only things worked out well for Isaac Clarke. That would be nice for once, right? Poor guy.
Just wrestling with his own guilt.
Third one is such a bigger gut punch too. Oh my god. I'm kind of excited to see what you think about it, Ash. Like the third one's a massive gut punch.
Yeah, I'm gonna play through it definitely. But I do like how Dead Space and Dead Space 2 really play on your anxieties. I really think
Dead Space 3 does too.
I think it's just a next. I only say that because I have barely played the beginning of Dead Space 3. So, but yeah, no, I like how the games play on your anxieties, and I think it's a deeper level of fear in that sense. I remember there's one part distinctly that I remember because I had to play through it a couple times actually, but there's this room that, like, if you're going into each room and actually exploring and picking things up, there is an alarm clock that you'll pass by, and when you come back through it, it goes off, and the alarm clock just kind of like freaks you out. It's just an alarm clock. I remember that's just one moment in particular I remember, and what was made deeper is that you don't have to go into that room. That's like a side room, but they triggered something in there to scare you for those types of players.
Yeah.
Which
and
was
that's
me.
something I really love about Dead Space 2, because you come into it thinking that you know what you're getting into, and you don't. Like, you're just, oh yeah, it's Dead Space. I'm gonna kill some necromorphs and fuck some shit up because I'm Isaac Clarke with the power of God in my right leg. No, absolutely not. No, you get absolutely ass fucked by a cactus in the second game. The only thing you know is normal necromorphs, and you see those a quarter of the time, and you're just like, okay. Like, playing through these games again, I was like, yeah, Dead Space 1, I know this game. This is the part where you get in this fucking part, and, you fucking throw some shit at some dead guys, and then you're good to go. Play number 2. Let's fucking go. It's all right. Nope. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I feel like I got ass fucked by a cactus and then, regurgitated that cactus. Like, I got absolutely mind fucked. And, it had been a while since I'd played these games. And it fucked me up for a while. Like, I was just sitting there, like, not even wanting to pick up even Animal Crossing because I was like, no, I just don't trust anything right now.
Yeah.
And that's what these games that are these good will do this to you. Like, it makes you contemplate being a gamer at some point. You're like, why the fuck did I sign up for this? Why the fuck am I still playing this? Like, what is wrong with me?
Yeah, I think this game plays on a lot of different aspects. I mean, there's a trip down memory lane. There's that whole like nursery segment that just is just so creepy because it involves children and space zombies. There's, I think, even a critique on consumerism maybe because you go through like what seems to be a futuristic shopping mall at some point. So I don't know. I think this game plays on a lot of those environments. And I thought it was cool.
It's like one of the few games that you don't really expect to have that kind of atmosphere, that kind of feel to it. And then, because obviously you're so used to the first one where it's just like a really big visceral horror game, and I use that term very loosely, because it's not even horror. Honestly, it's more of just like, guess what, oh, here's your anxiety. I hope you like it.
Surprise, motherfucker.
and now this one's just like, hey, here's a bag of stress and joy, and you're like, God damn it, dude, come on, I want to relax. And like, oh no, here's the nice little room that you can relax in. Don't touch that item though, but I want it. Touch it. And then now you have like a fucking horde inside this small ass little compartmentalized room with you, and you're like, come on, dude, I want a break. Give it to me, please.
Yes. This game really does play through like that through like a few segments. There's just does not let up, especially at the end, where there's no peace.
Yeah.
You're just going from the frying pan into the fire. That is actually exemplified quite a few times throughout. I was actually thinking about it. I know we talked about the mine detonator, whatever it's called, the seeker rifle. Some of the other new weapons in this game was the Javelin gun, right?
Yeah, the javelin gun.
Yeah, the javelin gun. That was cool. Although kind of nullified by the fact that you can pick up any sharp object with kinesis and launch it at enemies. But I did like the whole like stabbing them with a javelin and then electrifying it afterwards. That was cool.
Oh yeah. I love the aspect in Dead Space 2 where it's just like you kill them and they just hang on the wall. They're necro art. You have made art. You're welcome, Titan Station. I have done this for humanity. like Isaac doesn't like take it out, and even if he tries to, like if you throw like 3 or 4 in the motherfucker, you can only take out a few. There will still be one hanging in a shoulder with him just chilling on the wall. That's it.
So like another thing about that, right, is like you guys have seen the little fucking video that like that's on like in the game where they're telling you how like what happens with like picking up the fucking objects and pinning the necros against the wall and stuff like that. So you take like that little clip of like that dude instructing you on how to do that, and it's going to be showed again in Dead Space 3 whenever Isaac is explaining to people. Keep in mind that they played something completely different than what you'd expect him to do, because obviously Dead Space 3 is in a far better engine than Dead Space 2 was, and right?
Mm-hmm.
That video stays in the graphics of Dead Space 2 because it was older technology whenever they were experiencing with it. So it stays in, like, they keep that little, that little fucking bit of, I guess, nostalgic feeling of Dead Space 2 in there, which is really, really, really nice little touch. Like you'll see what I mean when you're playing through it.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, I did like, like I said, the little mini detour into Dead Space 1 with Dead Space 2. Coming back up on the Ishimura was cool. I actually went and I equipped all weapons that were Dead Space 1 weapons. And I was using the refurbished version of the plasma cutter. I decided to just do that for that chapter, and it was actually kind of a cool experience. But
yeah, it's fucking modded out plasma cutter that's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It's like the Dead Space version of a Glock with a 30-round mag and a sight and a fucking flashlight on it. Like, why do we need this? Because we do. It's just because we do.
It's like GoldenEye's golden gun. That's what it is.
Yeah, and the plasma cutter is still like just a standout weapon. It is your most reliable partner, and if you're gonna make sure that you have any kind of ammo, you want the plasma cutter ammo. And I also like how with the crafting mechanics they added in also like some special mods onto the plasma cutter and the contact beam and a couple others, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I love how even still in the second game, right? You're an engineer. You're Isaac Clarke. You could have any fucking thing in the world. You still choose your pulse rifle and your fucking plasma cutter because that's just, you're like, this is effective. This is it. This is what I'm using. That we're fully sold on this. Like, he makes no other executive decision except for to use his engineering tools to kill aliens. Like, I love that. But also at the same time, why? Why can't you just, like...
Just be normal.
Be normal for once.
They do dive a little bit more into the engineer with Isaac, like I said, with the hacking, with the expansion of the crafting system, and even with like Isaac's dialogue and whatnot, we do get to see a little bit more of that engineer in Isaac, and I thought that was cool.
He does speak very point of fact. He's very short, sweet, and to the point with a lot of his dialogue. Even though that you're no longer normal, you're not working a normal engineer job. He's still like, yes, this is what you need to do. Yes, we need to do this. Absolutely. Like, you're just like, okay, like, you can't fit. And I love that it's his entire being.
He may be psychotic, but he still has an engineer's brain.
He's damn good at his job, even though he's going through some fucking really bad psychosis. It's like stage 3 psychosis.
Yes, he can just jerry-rig shit. And I think that's what engineers could do in real life, to be honest, That's what he does. And I think they even dive a little bit more into the whole, like, jerry-rig crafting component with Dead Space 3, right?
Yes, yeah. So with Dead Space 3, they throw the whole thing on its head. So instead of, relying on, just scavenged weapons that you can just purchase outright, you get parts that you build your own weapons, and it tells you what they do and how effective they are and stuff like that. You have to literally make your like engineer your own weapons.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's really interesting that how they really delve into who he, like, his old job in 3, even more so than 1 and 2.
Cool.
Yeah,
so,
and I love throughout the games how they take this guy, right, Isaac Clarke, and they pull him onto the Ishimura, right, and they keep building on him as an engineer. So they keep building essentially through his career, and he becomes more confident in himself throughout these 3 games. Because at first he's like, oh yeah, like, I'm an engineer, like, whatever. Third game he's like, I fucking built a goddamn gun that can kill marker bitches. Like, he's just like,
you fucking what, mate?
Like, he's so confident. I love it.
Another little tidbit that I really enjoy with like the dialogue. His dialogue in 3 is so much better than 1 and 2, because he's such a smartass to this point. Where he's like, "Hey guys, we have an issue. What? Oh, there's necromorphs here. What do we do? Relax. I've dealt with them before. It's fine. Like, just cut off their limbs. They're fine."
He's
It'll be
very
all right.
lax in the third game. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, bitches?" Like in the third game. I know we're not really talking about it here, but I did just want to bring this up for the sake of the podcast.
Yeah, no, bring it in.
You feel. I mean, you still get your scare, you still get your horror. You get more horror brought in the third game, but you get more relaxed at that point. Like you're used to this now. You know what you're doing. You're like just fucking full send. I'm Isaac Clarke. I'm a fucking engineer. I'm gonna fucking send these bitches to their marker heaven, right? Like it's just straight up. You get more of a like, yeah, like Agony said, you turn it on his head. Like he just becomes so comfortable with it at this point that he's just like, yeah, fuck it. Like I don't give a shit. Like, oh hey, I see a berserker over there. Fuck it, let's go. Like he's so comfortable with it and himself, and you as the player can feel that he's more relaxed in the third game.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, whatever, let's do it. Fuck it, send it. Like playing through a few times, of course, now you're like, nah, all right, whatever. But even in the third game, I'm like, yeah, fuck it. I know what I'm doing. Like it's just so fun. And I think that's something that I can't find in a lot of horror games like Dead Space is by a certain point of the game, you get used to the horror, you get used to the action, and you're just like, man, this is kind of fun. I get to fuck some bitches up, like whatever.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I was just thinking, all right. Just blew into my head right now. So right here live on the podcast, we're making decisions, okay? I want to do a let's play on Dead Space 3. That way we can kind of finish all of the games. So, I'm going to do that. It's going to be a Patreon exclusive content. Let's play commentary on Dead Space 3 just so that we get the whole trifecta.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm playing fucking Mass Effect for the podcast, for the Patreon. I mean, I'm hoping, I didn't even remember this, but like I like to sometimes listen back to our episodes just to kind of see where we've come, especially throughout the season, and it kind of brings me back. And for a lot of the episodes, I feel like I kind of I don't really talk a lot or like I get used to being, in that kind of headspace, and I like to listen back, and I didn't even realize there's a new Mass Effect game coming out. So we get to play it for the Patreon, and hopefully we get to talk about it for the podcast. I love that, we're trying to delve more into that, cuz watching Agony, stream all the time, like it inspires me so much to like just get out there and play for Let's Plays, because like that's, obviously what I've wanted to do for a long time, but just watching people interact is so cool. And it's something that you don't really, a lot of people don't get to do and do it for fun. Some people, they get paid to do it, but like it's actually having fun talking about a game and just getting together and fucking yakking about shit is just what I absolutely love.
Hell yeah, I love it too, and we love having you on. And we're coming up with what we're going to be doing for next season, for season 4. So if you have any games that you want to talk about, now's the time to really lay it out, because we're gonna decide what episodes we're going to be doing coming soon. Speaking of which, I guess we're going to sort of wrap things up from here, and we'll get into our final thoughts. But we are coming to a close with season 3 of Collateral Gaming. So after this episode, I want to do a game launch episode on Skyward Sword HD. Are y'all still there?
I am.
Is Megan frozen?
I think Megan is frozen, yes.
Oh no. I was like, wow, she's just like.
That's a really long hit.
My Mac. It's a party. I think I lost my track too.
Yeah. Well, Megan's back, everybody. I don't know what happened there. I guess we just had some technical difficulties, but we're back. I think I was talking about how Collateral Gaming Season 3 was coming to an end. So after this episode, we're going to be talking about our next episode is going to be we're going to do a game launch episode on Skyward Sword HD. So spoiler-free review / analysis on Skyward Sword HD. Super excited about it because Zelda's our shit. Any new Zelda game that's coming out is going to get coverage no matter what.
Oh yeah, we're a Zelda podcast for sure.
For sure. After that, we're going to be doing our next episode is going to be Sonic 06. Just kind of want to check that box for bad game review this season and make sure we talk about something that's bad.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll go ahead and announce, because I'm kind of cutting this season short, just so that we can kind of recharge our batteries and get into season 4, and a couple things are being moved around because of that. But we'll go ahead and announce our season finale is going to be on the Quantic Dream games. So those are going to be Megan's contribution to the podcast.
Woohoo! I cannot fucking wait. I know that Agony has never played these, but yeah, Agony's never played these, but man, Agony, I wish you had a fucking PlayStation, because you would love Beyond Two Souls. Daddy Defoe's in it. Come on.
Daddy Defoe. So yeah,
Daddy
we're doing.
Defoe.
I think we're doing a 2-part special in that instead of just 2 episodes focusing on Beyond Two Souls, I kind of wanted to do that and compare it with Heavy Rain. So part 1 on Beyond Two Souls, part 2 on Heavy Rain, something that's going to be kind of a little bit different on the podcast. We're experimenting with things. I think we did that with this episode as well. We were going to do 2 episodes focusing on Dead Space, and we decided why not talk about Dead Space and Dead Space 2 and call it a part 1, part 2. And I like that. We're doing some more experimentation with that next season. I'm really excited to get into that with you guys. And for what it's worth, I think we're also going to try to throw in like Detroit Become Human in like a bonus round or something. That way we can just do that whole like the trilogy, because I got all 3 of those games together on Amazon. So
Yeah, I really love that we're kind of branching out of our comfort zone here, because we've been kind of doing things a little bit, we've been just kind of doing things the way that we do, and I think we're kind of like getting comfortable with the way that we're podcasting and things like that. So I really love that. It's getting a lot more interesting, because we're kind of just throwing things at y'all, and we're kind of just like, all right, this is what we're doing, and y'all are like, oh, okay, all right, that's cool. Like, we're just like, surprise, we're doing Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 2, and they're like, okay.
We could be throwing shit at you, or we could be throwing a trophy at you. You don't know. Maybe you'll get head in the trophy. Maybe you'll catch it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Maybe it's $1 million. I don't know.
Yeah. We're just happy that you listen to us. That's all we care about.
Yes, thank you to all our listeners. I think we're still averaging somewhere like 50 downloads a week. So thank you for that. Even on even when I've noticed when I'm not posting anything, people are still listening to our episodes. If I miss a week, and I do all the time, and I do apologize for that, because a lot of, we just have busy lives and shit. So things occasionally get thrown off schedule, and that's why next season I want to run things not necessarily as tight. So we'll talk about that after the show, of course. We're not going to bore our audiences with that nonsense.
The technicals of running a podcast.
But yeah, what a sorry, I'm high as fuck, so all right, what are our final thoughts on Dead Space 2, Agony?
It was definitely a lot better than the first Dead Space. Probably I'd say a pretty good one. Not the best, but also definitely not the worst. So,
all right, cool. Yeah. What about you, Megan?
Dead Space 2 was such a good one for me. There was lots. It brought the games as a whole together. Really meshed well with 1 and 3, because you kind of get even though 3 is afterwards, you can kind of see the comparison between the 3, and you can kind of make it like a little puzzle piece. All in all, I love Dead Space. Y'all know how I am. I don't really like horror games. This is a great amazing series, and I think that y'all should pick it up. Hopefully we do get a revive of this series. I'm really hoping for a remaster, prequel, something like that. I want to delve into this universe again on a new console. I really hope that our listeners really get to just delve into it, experience some of the horror we've experienced. And I think that it's a really great game. It's a really good starter horror game for me personally.
Hell yeah. All right, well, yeah, guys, this was a great episode, I think. I enjoyed talking about this game and the last game that we did, Dead Space 1. I actually was really happy to get introduced to this universe, because I never had played the games before. I was culturally aware of them, but, I had never personally played them. So it was actually really cool. And I dug out my 360 and played on that. Now my 360 is crashing on me, and this morning I'm literally trying to beat Dead Space 2, okay? I'm in chapter 13. I just did not have enough time in my life to just devote to, because I knew it was going to be hard. So I finally am like, okay, today we're going to record the episode. I'm going to beat Dead Space 3. So I'm in chapter 13, and every time I start moving through a room, my Xbox decides to just freeze. And so
there was something.
Welcome to my experience using my Mac.
There was what?
There was something that I didn't realize until like looking back into it about Dead Space 1 that I never knew after like the thousands of times I've played through. I never noticed it. If you take all the first letters of every single chapter in Dead Space, it spells out Nicole is dead.
What? Oh, that's
Yeah.
fucking creepy. I
didn't
love
know
it.
you didn't know that.
No, I
It does in
didn't.
the third one. There's one in the third one as well. I never knew it. I never paid attention to the chapters. There's one in the third
badass.
one.
Oh,
So,
that is
The
amazing.
second one.
That's a cool little
The
tidbit.
second one is the only one that doesn't have it.
Also, I found Peng this time. I found Peng.
Oh,
Yeah. The little golden statue.
Yeah, I did. And I didn't know what to do with it. I was like, should I sell it? Should I hold on to it? I don't know.
You can sell it.
I eventually
just
sold
threw
it,
it.
but yeah, because I was trying to stock up on power nodes, baby.
And just stumbled across it.
Like towards the end of the game, that's all you're doing, especially on like your second playthrough any Dead Space game. It's like you're just saving up for the power nodes. And I made sure to always keep one on me this time. I was playing Dead Space 2, so I always unlocked those rooms. Totally was worth it. Sometimes you found like 3 power nodes in there. Using a power node, you got them back. The value of the items in the power node rooms exceeds the value of the power node. So yeah. Just a FYI. But I guess we've rambled on long enough. So, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or feedback on your platform of choice. You can find Collateral Gaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts at. We also are on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Check out our Facebook group, Collateral Media Podcasts. That's just sort of our Collateral Cinema plus Collateral Gaming hangout where we post both movie and game-related memes, news, and you can interact with it too that way, trying to build up that group. So check it out. Speaking of Collateral Cinema, also reaching the finale for Season 4. So I know we just did our episode on Hooper, and we're going to be talking about Star Trek Beyond, and then our season finale on The Interview, both of which were my choices this season. So that's going to be really exciting, and then I'm really excited about what some of the movies that we're doing on the Collateral Cinema side. So if you enjoy Collateral Gaming and you love movies too, check out Collateral Cinema. I'm on that, along with Bo Maddox and Robert Ortegon. And stay tuned for our upcoming episodes. And check out our Patreon. Megan's going to be posting some content there.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I'm really, really excited. And also I did just want to bring this up because I am going to be playing. Let me know, y'all, what you because I do have like a normal playthrough that I played through. Let me know what y'all want to see in the Mass Effect games. I definitely want y'all's input. I might even do, I've been thinking about maybe doing a live, seeing, asking like if y'all want to ask questions, if y'all want more input on what my Shepard's going to look like, act like, things like that. Just want to kind of interact with you guys more. I might even stream a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm kind of anxious about that just because like I am not the best at streaming, but I think it would be really fun. Also, before we get out, Agony, plug your shit.
Plug your shit.
I mean, all it is just, twitch.com/ or Twitch TV / agony_within. I actually have to cut it short here because I got to get ready for my stream now. So because I'm streaming 13 minutes for some Jackbox games. So
Woo!
I
can't
actually
wait.
do have to jump out of the call. So I hope you guys have a great day. And if you guys decide to have me on the next one, I will be more than happy to be here.
All right.
Hell yeah,
We're
man.
happy for having you.
Hope to have you on future episodes, man. Have a good rest of your stream, guys. Go check out his stream.
Please.
Well, I mean, by the time we post it, it'll be long gone, but I'm sure he'll be streaming something then too.
Hey, Monday through Saturday. It's every night, Monday through Saturday. So.
On that note, let's go ahead and let's just wrap this up, guys. I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Megan Gomez.
And I'm Agony, even though I'm leaving. So have a good time. Bye.
Bye.
This is Collateral Gaming. We are out. Collateral Gaming is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and game clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.